Just link work.
You what? You've been AWOL.
My phone has been not working, so I couldn't connect.
Oh no, okay. And then like you finally got it to work and you had like 10,000 reminds from me going, what's your topic?
Yeah. Sorry about that. I'm doing the wage gap.
Okay, so wage gap.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the UT library website thing, looking for nonfiction books. And I think so. That's good.
Oh, so that's what you're working on?
Yeah.
Trying to find that. Okay. Good, good, good. So you were able to get on to the database okay?
Yeah. So
Good.
I've got my nonfiction book.
Sometimes it has the password thing and it's like, no, that's not your password. You're like, yes, it is. Sometimes it gets a little feisty.
Yeah. What did you guys talk about on the live yesterday?
We did not have a live yesterday. We're going to have one today because, well, actually, yesterday afternoon, Ms. Lewis and I got a text from Dr. Steele. We got an email followed up by a text. And we're like on the phone, and we're just like, oh my gosh, what does she need? Like we were freaking out. And she's like, so yeah, so there's like some new information about about the due dates, and they didn't approve what we had shown y'all. And we're just like, oh my God, we're like freaking out. But basically it's gonna be later dates. Yeah. I know. So we were just like, okay, it's good. We know that they want the kid, they want success. Like we were just like, I'm about to vomit. I'm so freaked out. It's like when you get a text from Dr. Steele, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna vomit. What do we do? We're in trouble. But the bottom line, so we're gonna have a live today at 2:00. But since you're here now, I can go ahead and tell you, the annotated bib, the new deadline will be April the 17th.
Okay.
Instead of the 13th, which was the Monday, and technically it was a school holiday for us. It's going to be that next Friday. And they're also pushing out the research persuasive argument, the big essay at the end, to May 4th.
Okay.
Instead of April 28th.
So the April 17th one is the annotated bibliography?
The annotated bib that we're working on right now.
The 5 sources now instead of 6?
Yeah, so we need 5 sources instead of 6. Let's see. She's also, on Monday, she's going to release a rubric for the essay, which she has never done, like ever. Like, it's funny because the new teacher, it was just the Richardson ISD teachers on this call, so there were 6 of us. And those of us who've been teaching this since the beginning, we're like, whoa! And the others here were like, what's the deal? We're like, yo, you have no idea how big this is.
Really nice.
And then she's actually going to add some extra credit opportunities on the college side. She doesn't know if there'll be 1 or 2. It just depends on how, like she has to redo it since there's only, 5 sources required now. It's going to be a calibration exercise. If she does 2, one will be a calibration of an annotated bib, and the other one will be the research persuasive argument. I got like a little catch in my throat. If she can only do 1, because she wants to release these Monday, then we requested the essay. And the points will actually go towards the annotated bibliography, since this is the one that we're kind of in the middle of when all this chaos began.
Okay, so the college grade is gonna be like real grades still?
Well, actually, they're bringing back the pass fail option, and so like right now for the fall semester it was the letter grade, and you would either accept it or decline it. And so for the spring semester only, they're bringing back the pass fail, where even if you earned like a D in the class, you could still accept the credit as a pass. And so it would, yeah. I know I had a couple people who were like, yeah, that last paper was not my best. So what happens if, and then the only thing with the pass fail is if you accept pass, then generally when you transfer that credit, they take it as, they apply it as an elective rather than to one of your core classes, which, it's still money saved and a credit earned, so.
Yeah. So nice. And we have the credit from last semester,
Mhm.
which will count as.
Yeah, and you'll still have the credit this one, you'll just have options on how you want to take it, which is really good. Like for those students who did earn a D, they're like, well, I can do the accept pass. And so that would be, a good option. But obviously, I mean, you're a strong student, you do good work. So I'm sure you'll end up with an A or a B. But yeah, so it's she's providing another option. And that, let's see, that won't happen till like middle of May. The May 16th through the May 16th through 29th is when we will be able to accept or decline credit.
And I've been looking over the sample annotated bibliography, and I'm kind of confused. Are we supposed to structure it the same way with like a headnote and then like integrate our?
Eventually we will. Yeah, so eventually it will look like that. Right now we're just working on your first source, your first couple of sources, and then the annotation for those sources. So just look at one source and it's basically the citation and 2 paragraphs.
Okay.
And then those are what you're turning in for 2 of the articles that support your position.
Okay. And when are those due? Do we turn them in on like Google Classroom or?
They'll be turned in Canvas.
Okay.
Because that way it has the rubric attached to them, and so I can look at it and give you feedback. Okay. The first 2 are due like yesterday, but I mean, right now, like dates are so weird, and especially since we got this extension. The main thing is I want to be able to look at them and give you guys some feedback and say, okay, you need to add this and add this before you turn it into UT. And then
I have my 2 sources, and I've been like writing like the gist of the ideas that I want to go over. So okay. I'll finish that like today and turn it in tomorrow or something.
And submit them. Yeah. It's basically what you're doing in the annotation. The first paragraph is almost like a rhetorical analysis of that article or of that source, where you're looking at the author, you're looking at the credibility, you're looking at the venue, the audience, you're looking at the kairos, and the exigency of the situation. And then the second paragraph is kind of, you want to include a summary, and you want to include how you think it might work into your research. Like, why would you choose that article versus some other article?
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. It's intimidating when you look at it, but then when you kind of like sit down and start working on it, it's like, oh, okay, I can do this. And I think especially with, we kind of lost our momentum and lost that mojo, and just getting our feet back under us, and things are going to look a little different. But just kind of getting that momentum going again, I think is going to be, just that's been the biggest challenge, I think.
Yeah, I think every class is like, well, what do we do now? Like, we have all these stuff plans.
You know what? I will say that when we were meeting with Dr. Steele yesterday, she goes, I'm really impressed with how quickly Richardson ISD made this transition. She said, it was just like barely a hiccup for you guys. And I was like, yeah, because we've been doing, one-on-one technology. I mean, there's districts who are still, there was one small district like a rural district, and they were still trying to get laptops to all the teachers.
Yeah, that's
like, all the teachers don't have laptops. I thought that was just standard.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, like kids who don't have access to Wi-Fi and stuff, how they are even handling this.
I know with Richardson, they can actually check out a hotspot from the district.
Well, that's good.
And so it's something almost like you would use your phone as a hotspot. It's some kind of device like that provides the Wi-Fi, and they can link into it. And then a lot of the like Spectrum and Comcast, a bunch of them are providing like 60 days free for students, to finish out the school year.
Really nice.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's just crazy times that we live in.
It is, I know, it's been so crazy. But it's been good seeing y'all, just, popping on here. I'm actually in the process of finalizing research cohorts. So you'll be with a group of other people who are doing, we have like 4 or 5 people who are doing gender wage gap. And then actually some of the gender stuff I had to split into 2 groups because some are doing the wage gap specifically, and then others are doing like other,
like incorporating it into something.
Yeah, or some of it are doing like other, I'm trying to think, I was just looking at that document. I don't remember off the top of my head what some of the others were doing, but it's like some about like dress code, professional dress codes. We've seen a big thing with like the natural hair for different ethnicities. So people are doing some things like that with like gender, like kind of a blend of the gender and ethnicity. So it's interesting topics.
Yeah, I've found a ton where it's even in like certain professions, like how the gender wage gap is different, and I was like, that's really interesting, like, because you don't think about like how going into one job could be different than, I don't know. I just
yeah. And then go ahead.
You know who, like, in our 3rd period class is doing gender wage gap?
Let me look real quick. And I'm not doing them by class, since we're all just kind of one big happy family now.
Yeah.
Just one big happy mess. Let's see, gender issues wage gap. Oh, actually, let me add you to it now. Why is it not deleting or cutting? So the wage gap in your class, it's Madison Lair and Jordan Hazelhurst, and then Jessica Matadamas from 2nd period. So it'll be the 4 of you.
Okay, cool.
And I'll get those out. Well, I'll at least post like who's in what group, but then I'm putting together like some different documents for each class, for each group. Like a Padlet for each group to share some resources. So like you might be researching something and come across an article and you're like, ooh, this is really good. It's not really the direction I'm going, but Madison might be able to use, or Jordan might be able to use it.
Yeah, that seems really nice. It'd be nice to have some like feedback from peers since we're not doing peer-reviewed stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, not for this one. There's not a peer review. There is a peer review for the essay at the end, and then we'll still do that the same way where y'all upload and I, hit the magic button periodically.
Do we have to do the same topic for the essay at the end, or can we like go a totally different direction?
That happens sometimes. The idea is that this is the research you're doing for your paper at the end.
Okay.
So that's kind of the general idea. And like part of the head note is here, I like the way that Dr. Steele put it yesterday. It's a synthesis of what you've read so far, and then kind of a projection of what you think you'll write about. So it's almost like there's kind of a proposal. The head note's almost a research proposal for your final paper.
Well, because I didn't want to like change directions completely, but I thought like if I found something interesting, like just a smaller aspect of it that I wanted to explore, could I write it about that?
Absolutely, yeah. And that's one thing that happens in this is that you're going to continue to do that research, and even like what you submit to me for an ally article, well, 3 days later you might find something that's even better. And then of course you would want to use that one when you submit to UT for the annotated bib. And then like when you get the feedback from the annotated bib, they may even give you some suggestions on not so much sources to use, but like a different direction that you could go.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're definitely not, married to it. And I had students the very first year after we did the annotated bid, she kept researching. And then she's like, I think I just completely changed my topic. She was doing something about affirmative action, and she was from Guatemala. And so she's looking at like the college application process or something with different socioeconomic groups. and just completely came across something different. She's like, wow, I just uncovered some stuff and I think this is what I'm going to do. And that's, you know, the beauty of research is that it's not a one and done. It's continuing to evolve.
Okay. After I like do the 2 summaries for each of my ally articles, what do you think I should start working on like next?
The next one that's due to me is the hostile article. So something that does not support your kind of the direction that you seem to be going, or it presents something different. So like if like you were saying, like different ethnic groups and different career paths are showing different things. So if there's, you know, maybe you come across an article, you know, something that you just disagree with, and you're like, that's just kind of not a good idea, then that would be a good, hey Grace, then that would be a good, you know, a good hostile article. To my girls, we got the middle table.
Oh my gosh, middle table.
Middle table. My rock stars. And Ashley, not Ashley, but Ashley. That one's Ashley Solace, right? Solace. The 2 A's. There she is. I think it's so fun to see everyone's surroundings. I'm not blown away, but I don't know. I think it's curious how many of y'all, like the girls, have lights and stuff in your room. I think it's fun. I actually put some up just special for this. I have this huge window right here, and I put some lights up around it, so it'd be just like, oh, I think Sam. But I put those up just special for my little office corner. And then there's the cats. They're all crashed out right there. They're snoring. I don't know if you can hear Violet snoring. Oops, I'm standing on my charger. There they are, the pumas. There we go. That's a Violet who's like, what? Anyway. Little glimpses into everyone's world, right? So y'all feeling a little better, a little less stressed?
I don't know. I feel like I have a lot of work right now, so it's just kind of all like piling on top of each other.
It's kind of that transition and getting that momentum going again. Yeah. And another Ashley Wyant and Joanna and Emery. Look at y'all. This is exciting. Like I say, Mr. Emery's there in his command center. It just always looks like that because you're like, you have something going over here and something over here, and you got, you know, all the stuff on.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess so.
It's fun. So we'll give it, y'all are very punctual, and I was actually just chatting with Riley. We were having a little conference before, so we'll give it a couple of minutes. But yeah, when Dr. Steele sends you a text, like to your phone, you go, ah!
Is this bad news?
No, it's not. Not at all. It's like really good, really generous. Huh?
Is it less work?
Well, I wouldn't say that.
No.
I wouldn't say that. No, she was just like, okay, so I need to talk to all of the Richardson ISD redders. So there were 6 of us that were on the call. But it's funny because Ms. Lewis and I had just finished kind of talking and planning and talking about the research, and like literally within 5 minutes. And we're just like, what could it be? Oh my gosh. And just the whole, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm going to vomit. But no, it's good. They're actually being more than generous, and I felt very good afterwards. Hey, Miss Madison, how are you? She's muted. She's just a name, the black square with the name. There she is. Sorry. She's like, fine. Hello. I just like seeing y'all's faces because it's just me and the cats here all day. It gets really old really fast. But we're just gonna wait another minute or so. And it's good news. So everyone who's popping in, it's good news. Don't worry. It is good news. Really good news. And what's with this? Oopsie. This chilly weather coming back today.
Weird.
No, I need to go do some grocery shopping for my parents because they've just been at home, holed up at home. I'm like, you're not going outside. And Dad's like, but I'm getting really bored. Tiffany, what's up, girl? You're another one who's just kind of been flying low on the radar. Excuse me. We're gonna give it another minute or two for folks to pop on. Actually, I'm gonna turn my phone on silent. Although if people start sending me a reminder saying, what time are we doing this stuff? And y'all, so my choir at church, we're doing one of those like virtual music things for Easter Sunday. So yeah, I got to make a music video yesterday. That was weird. And upload it. And I'm like sitting here singing, you know. It was funny. Then I did it. I was like, oh, it didn't record. I could have sworn I hit the record button. And everyone in our choir group on Facebook, they've been dumping their outtakes, which have been hilarious. One of the things we're supposed to do is like in the track, one of the guys counts out 1, 2, 3, 4, then we're supposed to clap, and that's like, you know, to get us all synchronized. And so our choir director, every time he was doing that, his dog would start barking, thinking it's playtime. So he's finally just, you know, it was funny. Anyway. All right. Well, I am going to go ahead and, yeah, so yesterday afternoon, Ms. Lewis and I, actually this was all of the rhetoric teachers in Richardson ISD. So there's 2 at Berkner, 1 at Lake Highlands, 1 at Richardson, and then myself and Ms. Lewis. So there were 6 of us total. And Dr. Steele emailed us and said, oh, let me see what the actual email said, because it freaked us out so bad. Let me find it. Okay, Dr. Steele. We were given late-breaking information yesterday afternoon to revise the proposed assignment deadlines. And so we're just like, oh my gosh, we've already kind of not completely told our kids about this, but kind of have. I need to meet with your district's team of on-ramps rhetoric instructors today to go over the options so you know before your students will need to have consensus for a single set of deadlines, blah, blah, blah. And so and then she followed up with a text message. So she like sent this, and then within 5 minutes, we got a text message. So we were freaking out because again, when you get a text from Dr. Steele, you're just like, oh, yeah, what just happened? So, but it's wonderful news. Hey, Jordan, come on in. So the consensus that the rhetoric team at Richardson came up with, and the options were what we sort of hinted at. And then that was option 1. There was option 2, which is one we went with. And then there's option 3, which was like, we don't need that much time. That's just overkill. So, and Ashley Rimschel, hello, hello, hello. It's so good to see y'all. And they're like, I don't know if you can hear them mowing the yard and stuff out here outside. Hopefully not. Hopefully that's not coming through. Anyway, so bottom line is the annotated bibliography, and I have not looked on Canvas yet today. I know they were going to publish the new syllabus today, so I haven't looked yet to see if it's out there. But the annotated bibliography will now be due on Friday, April the 17th. So instead of the 13th, it will be due the 17th. Yay! Jazz hands. And then there are also the researched persuasive argument, so the big paper at the end, instead of being due on April the 28th, it's now going to be due on May the 4th. So they're pushing everything out a little bit. They're giving us some extra time. One of the things that I mentioned to Dr. Steele is that even though this week is kind of our first week of online learning, a lot of it has been spent trying to regroup and kind of get that momentum going again. And she's like, yeah, I totally get that. All right, so the first thing, the new deadlines, the annotated bibliography is April 17th, and then the research persuasive argument is due May the 4th, okay? She is also on Monday, put check marks by these things as I mention them. On Monday, and this is like historical, she will be releasing the rubric to the essay. Oh, this is historical. And I was telling Riley earlier that when we were on this conference, there are 3 of us who have been teaching this course since the first year, and we were like, whoa, like party on, we're getting a rubric. And the other ones who it's like their first year teaching, and they're like, what's the deal? And we're just like, no, you have no idea. This is huge and generous and amazing. But you know, they're wanting you guys to be as successful as possible, and so they're taking the steps that they feel that they need to do to help you guys, you know, since the situations are so different. So the rubric for the final essay will be released on Monday. In addition to her amazing generosity, she is going to provide some extra credit on the college side. Okay. The extra credit, she's not sure if there will be 1 or 2 options. It just depends on, she's trying to get all this going like pretty soon, just depends on how much time she has. But it will be a calibration exercise. If she does 2 of them, there'll be a calibration of the annotated bib and a calibration of the research persuasive argument or the essay at the end. Our vote, if she can only do 1, is for the essay, because we've looked at the annotated bibs. You know, we're good with that. I think we're good with that. So we requested, if she only had 1, that it would be the calibration of the research persuasive argument, and those points, if it's 1 or if it's 2, those points will actually go on the annotated bibliography, since that's where all the crazy hit. Okay, so far so good. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat box. Okay. Let's see, next up, so you guys, you already know that the peer-reviewed journal article requirement has been dropped. Okay, so you don't need the peer-reviewed journal article. You do still need a book, the nonfiction book that was published within the last 10 years. And there's excuse me, information out on Google Classroom along with the slideshow showing you guys how to find ebooks in the UT database. One of the things that was mentioned in that, and let me look at this real quick, I forgot what it's called. It's a research something, a research, hang on. Can I do that? I can't do that. It's telling me I can't do that. Okay, I can't do that. Oh gosh, I can't think of what it's called. Anyway, but it's like the research guides, there we go. But the research guides in the UT database, they've actually added one in there for ebooks. So there's one specifically now for ebooks, so hopefully that will help. All right, if you already have a journal article, of course you can use it, and it may actually be, hey Matthew, it may actually be a really good option for a contextualizing source, okay? And then this has actually been a question as well. I've gotten several reminds about your grade this quarter in the college shell, and like, well, what if I don't accept it, or what if this, or what if that, like what does it do? They're actually bringing back the pass-fail credit. So you can either, like if you do really well, end up with, you know, an A or a B or even a C, then you can accept it as the letter grade. And if you make like a C or a D and you're like, I don't know if I want that on my transcript, then you can accept it as a pass grade. So instead of pass fail, it would be just show up on your transcript that you took this class and you passed it. The only downfall to that, to the accept pass, is that when you try to transfer it to a university, they usually will, if it's a pass fail class, they would apply that as an elective rather than a core class. But that's way down the line. And that, the accepting or declining the credit will occur May 16th through the 29th, and I'll put that on our class calendar. And you will have your final grades by May 12th from UT. Okay, y'all good on everything so far? Okay, so the big thing is the annotated bib, the new date the official new due date is April the 17th, which is like 2 weeks from today, right? Because today's the 3rd. Yeah, so 2 weeks from today. And then the research persuasive argument has been moved to May the 4th. So those are the big ones. I think that's what so those are all the things. Jackson, that is you. All right. Because that picture doesn't look anything like you. Anyway, and Maria, hey Maria. A couple of y'all just popping in right now. All right, so what questions do you have? And it can be about current assignments, it can be about this stuff, it can be about, you know, life in general. I actually had a really good faculty meeting this morning with Mr. Evans. It was supposed to go 30 minutes, went like an hour. And we actually had almost all the faculty on it, which was pretty cool. It was optional. So feel free if you want to, you can unmute yourself and ask a question. You can pop it in the chat room. The main things that I wanted to get out to y'all were the new due dates of April 17th and May 4th. Oh, also, hey Carla, also, what was I about to say? Oh, so I've been putting together research cohorts, and what this is basically a group of people that you will be partnered with that are researching a very similar topic. So like there's several of you that are researching gender wage gap. There's several of you that are researching other gender issues. There's several of you who are looking at like expression of your ethnic background. Several of you who are doing like transgender issues. And so you'll be paired, not paired, but partnered, grouped with this cohort where you guys can help. Yes, Grace. She says, are the due dates that have posted in your Google Calendar going to change with the dates in the UT due dates? Yes, they will. I didn't want to start moving stuff around before I talk to you guys. So yes, some of my due dates will change moving forward. Anyway, so the research cohorts, you'll have the opportunity to meet with your cohort via Google Meet, you know, twice a week, 3 times a week, you know, at least twice a week, but if you need to meet more, you can. And then the beauty of it is, like, as you're researching your things, you might come across some stuff. So like, let's say Madison and I are researching a similar topic, and I'm like, ooh, this is a really good article. I can't use it, but Madison might be able to use it. And so you guys will have a pad that you can go and drop some information out there, you know, and you could like even tag them. Hey Maya, it's good to see you, not see you. Does this include due dates for the annotations? What do you mean? Like the annotations, the separate annotations are due to me, and I will revise those on the class calendar. Did that answer your question? Okay, yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna revise the individual annotation due dates on the class calendar. And then you'll also, in your cohort, you'll also have the opportunity to kind of look at each other's work and just say, okay, yeah, I'm having trouble with this. Can you help me with this? What do you think? How would you word this? I'm having trouble with the, you know. And so you'll have, it's the idea is to provide another layer of support. Normally, obviously, we do this in class, and there'd be like set meeting days, like maybe a Monday and a Thursday, where you would meet in class. But since we're not in class, it's just gonna look a little bit different. Okay, what other questions you got for me? And again, you can unmute or you can just drop it there in the chat box. And like some of y'all look like you're typing, I can't tell. Okay. I will say, I don't know if I said this already, I know I had mentioned it to Riley, but when I was on the phone with Dr. Steele, she commented how impressed she was at how easily that Richardson ISD made this transition. She's worked, you know, we had on-ramps going on in Houston when Hurricane Harvey hit, and they were just like, you know, flooded for days, for weeks. And so she's worked with other districts when it comes to kind of these crisis management or catastrophe management. And she said Richardson and Spring Branch, which is part of Houston, that we came on board the quickest, that we were just like up and running and just barely a hiccup in it. So I thought that's pretty cool that she acknowledged that. She recognized it and acknowledged it. And I think a lot of that, I think you guys deserve a lot of that credit as well. Excuse me. All right, what other questions you got for me? Anything? And then Jackson, I need your topic, dude. You're like, I don't know. I'm working on it. Gender, race, ethnicity, and the American identity. He's like, hang on. Okay. That was so funny. I can tell y'all are multitasking. So do y'all feel like you're kind of beginning to get your feet back under you? Kind of get that momentum going again a little bit? Okay, good. Okay. Well, that's all I had for you. Yes. The original, okay, I see the confusion. So the original due date before all this happened to UT was April the 8th. And then when we had our monthly meeting with Dr. Steele, this was actually that Monday, that first Monday after spring break. They were putting together a proposal to submit to the powers that be on revised due dates. And so that's what they had suggested for, we're on Schedule C. And the schedules have to do with like when the schools start and kind of whatnot. So we were on Schedule C. And so the Schedule C proposed new due date was April the 13th. And then when she texted us yesterday, that was not approved. Actually, I don't want to say it wasn't approved, but they had some other options for us. And so we decided to go ahead and go with one that gave y'all a little more time. So yeah, the original, before all this crazy stuff, the original due date was April 8th. And then it was kind of moved to the 13th, but not officially published. And then the one that we're going with that should be on the syllabus that's being, and again, I haven't looked yet to see if it's there yet, is the 17th. So sorry if that caused any confusion. Something else that Dr. Steele said she's going to do, she's going to start communicating with you guys every Monday. So make sure, and it will be, I think she said it's going to be through email in the college shell. So make sure that that you check her emails, and it'll be informational, just again to kind of help you guys along this. Any other questions? Anything else? All right. Well, I'm going to stop recording. We can stay on and chat.